Good afternoon, good morning. My name is Holly Charlesworth. I'm here to talk about the Connecticut chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council and our education program, which is GPRO. Just a little bit of a background. Are most of you familiar with USGBC and the LEED building code and business professional certifications? Okay. We're the Connecticut chapter. We've partnered with the Urban Green Council in New York City to, as a delivery partner for GPRO, which is a program that they've developed specifically for professionals in the building industry. So that, depending on the module, I'm here talking about primarily fundamentals today, but they also have operations and maintenance, plumbing, electrical, and mechanical. And a little bit of background for myself. I was brought in May to expand the education program. I was with the National Apartment Association in DC, and in that capacity, I ran their sustainability program and also served as a lobbyist. And part of my job was to kind of reach in the multifamily industry, which in the building industry is kind of the outlier in energy efficiency. Fundamentals, which is a course that is accessible to everyone. We're hopeful that we can actually get it into the technical high schools throughout the state. That's something I think there's a huge opportunity for. Wasn't necessarily designed for that, but I think that circumstances call for that, because it's a huge opportunity, the green building industry, for professionals across the state. So fundamentals of green building, I actually attended it this week. We were hosting it with a private partner. It can be anyone in real estate, construction, and architecture, people that are interested in workforce development themselves, students, because I think having a knowledge of what green building and what sustainable building practices, and it touches on operational practices, which I think is very important, can do, is power when you're looking for your professional career, or even if you're looking at a lease for yourself. If you're looking at an apartment, or if you're looking at somewhere where you want to move your company to, it's asking the right questions about the buildings, how it was built, what's around it is important, and also how they operate the building is important. So fundamentals, it's a really cool course, kind of talks about how the building can be efficient, how things around it are efficient, how practices are efficient, the recycling program, making sure that there's LED lights that are frequently changed, making sure that your lights are working, because I've worked with sustainability professionals across the country, and actually a lot of times on-site property management teams don't report when their lights aren't working, which is, can kind of suck a lot of energy out of the building. So there's a lot of cool pieces of the fundamentals, and it's actually a certificate course. So once you take that course, you can add that into your resume. So again, what they learned, the green building strategies, touches on LEED, but there's a lot of other green building certifications out there that it touches on. The economic and the health benefits of actually working and living in a green building and attending school. There's a lot of different benefits that we're seeing that, a professional should be aware of, or a student. The causes and impacts of climate change on buildings, and also buildings on climate impacts are also discussed. Because when we're talking about reducing our energy use and our carbon footprint, buildings are a huge piece of that don't necessarily get a lot of the attention that they should, from both A class to C class. That's something that we touch on, how companies can transition to sustainable construction practices, how to comply with the green codes and standards, and also understanding LEED, which is, again, it's a building certification. And And LEED, I think, is a really great thing as a building certification, but also when we take the building and we actually put it into the world. I know someone who works for one of the largest multifamily companies in the nation, and she says she always touches upon the LEED green building criteria, and she has this whole plan on how she lets the on-site property team know, the construction team know what they need to know to keep their buildings green and sustainable, which is kind of a larger picture, I think. And the importance of building commissioning systems, which is important. A lot of times, certain developers will say, I'm LEED compliant, but they haven't gone through the commissioning process. And if you're not really keeping an eye on it and what everyone's doing, certain things don't actually meet the standards, unfortunately. So it is important to kind of touch base with the professionals in the industry who can help you do that. And again, CTGBC, we want to expand GPRO throughout the state because we feel there's a lot of opportunities here, especially with fundamentals, because I think a lot of policymakers, a lot of people in the towns would really benefit from attending this course because it does touch on commercial, it touches on residential, it touches on housing, it touches on multifamily, it touches on everything that you need to know. So that's what we're hoping to do. And again, through the suite of GPRO, we're focused on fundamentals today. We have operations and maintenance, which is something near and dear to my heart just based on my background. You can certify a building as LEED, you can certify it as passive house, but once it goes into operation, do the on-site property team, do they know what they need to know to keep it there? And also, are we incentivizing them to keep it there? Because I call it the triage system. When you're an on-site property manager or you're a maintenance tech, you have a lot of things going on, and usually the first thing you want to do is you want to put out the fire. Not necessarily that you want to correctly put out the fire to make it sustainable, but you want everyone to be happy. So I think we need to give everyone the tools to keep everyone happy, but also to make sure that building is performing where it needs to, because again, the buildings across the state, across the country, across the world, we need to get them to be sustainable and stay sustainable in order to address climate change. So we have the fundamentals, we have the operations and maintenance. We're moving into the plumbing, which water conservation I think is key across the state as we're looking at different weather patterns, but also the fact that our utility rates are going up. So plumbers have a huge opportunity here to help families and businesses save money on their utility bills and also save energy, because if your boiler is not working, if you have a leaky sink that's using hot water, if your dishwasher is not working appropriately, you're wasting energy too. So there's a huge opportunity there. And then there's two other modules that we're hoping to move into, electrical and mechanical. And then Urban Green is in the process of developing a construction module, which will help a lot of the professionals across the state when they're actually building to have a better understanding on the green building principles and also the waste and things like that. So if you have any questions, I encourage you to look at our website, attend our meetings. Our next Fundamentals of Building Green is on November 19th at the Construction Institute in Hartford. So registration is currently open for that. If you have any questions about hosting a fundamentals, attending a fundamental, or any of the other courses, please let me know. My email's right there, hrcworth@gmail.com. So if anyone has any questions,